Okay, hello. This is a lesson on the surface area of prisms. In this lesson, we should be able to identify what a prism is and also how to find its surface area. You will be receiving a reference sheet handout that has lots of geometry formulas. We'll talk about some of the pros and cons of that handout. Some formulas are more useful than others. So today we're talking about prisms, and you can see in the highlighted box there, a prism is a solid with two bases that are congruent and parallel. And that's those two words, congruent and parallel, are key to what we're talking about. So this is a triangular prism because the bases are triangles. So in this particular case, the triangles are on the top and the bottom, but it does not need to be that way. They might be on the left and the right. The two bases are just congruent and parallel. So keep that in mind when you're trying to identify what kind of shape it is. Okay. So what is surface area? Surface area is really the amount of space of all faces of a 3D object. So in other words, how much space does it take to cover the 3D solid? And we're going to try this. I put in here on your reference sheet, you'll notice here that is on your reference sheet. And we're looking at surface area. So you're welcome to use this, but sometimes it's confusing. A lot of times I wrote here, it's easier to just find the area of each plane or each surface and go from there. And that's what I'm going to do with this one because I think it makes a little bit more sense in some particular situations. Okay, so let's do it. So for this shape, this is a rectangular prism. The two bases are rectangles, so we call it a rectangular prism. So I'm gonna start with the bases, the top and the bottom. So let's go bottom. And the bottom, right, is this right here, and that's a 10 by 3 rectangle. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle. This is 10, this is 3. So we know that's 30. Okay, now I know that I have two of those, and that is going to be the same. So the top is also 30. Okay. And then I'm going to look at, so we did the top and the bottom. Let's do the front. Okay, that's this right here, right? Well, that's a 4 by 10. So that's 40. Okay, that means the back is the same. Also 40. Okay, so now we just need to do the right and the left. So let's start with this one right here. That's the right. It's got 3 on the bottom, and then this would be 4. Okay, so the right is 3 by 4, 4, 3. Okay, so that is 12, and then the left is also 12. Okay, so I have this, 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 and this. Those right there, I need to add those up, and that's going to give me my total. So let's see, 80, 110, 140, plus 24 would be 164. Okay, so the total surface area to cover this shape would be 164. Remember, area is square inches, so this would be 164 square inches is the surface area of this rectangular prism. Okay, and that is how you find surface area of a prism. Okay, so let's try some other different kinds of shapes that you're going to see in this one. This right here is a hexagonal prism. you'll notice that the two that are congruent and parallel are both hexagons in the front and in the back, right? So remember, that's a regular hexagon, regular meaning all the sides are the same. So the formula for a regular hexagon is right there in blue that I wrote, is 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. And the apothem, if you remember, is this distance from the center to the side. That's A. Okay? So the perimeter would just be the distance around the shape, so the length of the sides times however many sides you have. So, okay, well, let's find that first. So this particular one in the front, okay, so we have, let's see, that would be 1/2 times 15 times, and then the perimeter would be 17 times 6, right? So that would be 102. So times 10, I'm running out of room here. Let's just rewrite this maybe a little bit smarter. Okay, so this is 1/2 times 15 times 102. Whoops, that's not 102. 102. Okay. Now, if you do that, you should get 765. Okay, so the front hexagon is 765. The back is also the same. So let's write over here, front and back is equal to 765 times 2, which would be, 1530. Okay. Now, we have a bunch of rectangles around the shape. Let's see here. Let's go maybe the highlighter. You got this rectangle right here, and they are all the same, right? So they are all 25 and then 17 on the side. Okay, so 25 times 17, 425. Now, how many of those do we have? Well, we have, let's see, 6 of them, right? It's hexagon. So times 6. So 2,550. Okay, so then for those 6 rectangles plus the front and the back, I have to add now these two together. Okay, so if I do that, that's going to give me 4,080, and this is also inches, so square inches to make up that shape, and that's my answer for that. But again, sometimes this formula over here I think is maybe a little bit more confusing to use than to just kind of look at each plane or each face and find the total there. So not always is the formula the best. Okay, so we know how to find the area of a prism now in a couple of different types. Let's talk about maybe a composite solid where you have a couple different shapes. And again, then in this particular instance, I also think it's just easier to think about each surface. So let's do that. Let's go front. So front is this right there, we'll say. So that is a 3 by 3. 9. Back. Okay, also 9. Just the same. Okay, we got that handled. Let's do left and right. Okay, so the left would be kind of over there. And you got 3 and 5. So it's a 3 by 5 rectangle. 3, 5, which is 15. And so the back is also, or I mean the right, which is sort of like the back over there, I guess, is the same. Okay. Let's do the bottom. Is a 3 by 5 as well. Yeah. Okay, 15. Okay, so I think we've handled the bottom rectangular prism. There is no top there. Let's talk about the triangular prism up top. Okay, so we're gonna look at sort of this top part of this. Let's do the 2 triangles in the front. They are both like that. And we know they are 4 and 3. So remember that to find a triangle, it's 1/2 base times height. So that would be 1/2 times 3 times 4, which is 6. There's 2 of them there. So we got those. 12. Okay. Okay, let's do the rectangle in the back. There is 4 high and 5, okay? This is a 4 by 5, which is 20. Okay. And then we got the slant part, which is kind of hard to see, but in the front there. And that is a 5 by 5. So that's the one that's on the slant or the slope there. And that's 25. Okay. So we have this, those, and then these right here. Okay, so we're going to add all those up. If we do that, let's see. 50, this would be 45, that's 95, 100 and... Oh, yeah. Okay. 18, that's 30. Okay, so this, I got 120. And this is square centimeters. Okay, better just make sure here. Did my math correctly there. Let's see. 18 plus 45 plus 12 plus 20 plus 25. Yeah, 120. Okay, cool. And that is surface area of prisms. Go ahead and work on that assignment. Don't forget to write it into your planner. Good luck. See ya.